Hi folks, welcome at Windows in the Cloud, live at the Workplace Naming event in Baden, Switzerland. I just finished interviewing 3 Microsoft MVPs talking about Windows 365 and how it solves challenges at their customers. So let's get started. So hi everyone, I'm super excited to be here with Morten, one of our Windows 365 MVPs. So Morten, can you introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, Christian. My name is Morten Pithold and I work as a cloud architect at Apento in Denmark. I've been there for roughly 5 years now and absolutely enjoying it. I've been doing remote desktop services way back then and headed into Microsoft Intune, device management, and now a Windows 365 MVP and enjoying the product.
Yeah, what did you make the move to invest in Windows 365? Like, what caught your interest, let's say, like that?
Yeah, so I've done a lot of Azure Virtual Desktop for a lot of customers in Denmark and internationally. And one of the biggest concern for IT staff was the management of it. So having Windows 365 directly into Microsoft Intune just simplifies everything. And you don't have to have specific skill set to use it. And the reporting is just built in and it's nice to use and great end user experience.
If we go back a little bit in your previous experience, was that Intune related as well? So what was the ramp up that you experienced as a consultant going from like Intune to Windows 365? Was that like very smooth? Did you have to learn for it or was it like seamless there?
Yeah, so going into Microsoft Intune, you of course have to get some knowledge base of the technology itself. But once you're there with your physical device, you can actually just take your knowledge and reuse it on your virtual device. And that's what makes this so seamless to do, because deploying a Cloud PC is very seamless and easy for everybody to do.
That's great. And definitely part of our vision too, to simplify how Windows 365 simplifies Windows in the cloud. So another question for you, Morten, what are the main use cases you see for Windows 365 with your customers?
So one of the most common requests I get from my customers that they want to do is to have like a secure environment for their external consultants. So back in the days, consultants tend to get a physical PC from the company that they are working for. Now that requires some maintenance, that has a big cost for the company, and having a virtual secure device is very easy to replace, manage, and control everything that the user has access to.
Yeah, so what you're saying, really the simplicity of spinning up Cloud PCs without shipping hardware and things like that, something you see a lot in the market being asked for.
Yeah, definitely. I also see a lot of customers trying to embrace the letting the user use the device that they want to. Like maybe salesmen like to have a tablet that they want to go into a meeting with. It's more common that you work at the night because we are in a hybrid world now. And some people just like to take their MacBook, sitting in the couch and just work from there. So I see companies trying to embrace that, giving the end users the choice.
Okay, so the flexibility regarding platform usage, Mac, other Android, Windows, of course, web, is something you see a lot.
I definitely do.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it will expand even further in the future.
Well, that's great to hear. Just a personal question to you. What's your favorite feature of Windows 365?
Yeah, I do have a couple, but when I thought about the question, it was really hard. But my favorite feature is the end user actions. I think that really brings something special, that end users are able to do actions on their own virtual device, even without being connected to it. I mean, that's really powerful, and being able to troubleshoot it, be able to reset it and stuff like that. And that's really opened up a whole new world.
Oh, that's great. So you're definitely thinking in the right direction in terms of like unique features for Windows 365. What do you think about the new features, boot and switch, that just got GA released?
Yeah, I think about the switch, I think it's really awesome that you have the seamless integration with your physical device to your virtual device, embracing that hybrid world that we are living in. And about the boot is also bringing the new capabilities to have like just device mode and, maybe some workplaces at the office that people can go and use if they forgot their laptop or it's broken or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're talking about like the shared PC scenarios, hot desking at like
Exactly.
hybrid workers, and then you log on and boot into a cloud PC.
Yeah.
That's great. So if I ask you how Windows 365 compares to other solutions or things that you have been using yourself in the past, like can you give the audience a little bit like your lay of the land view of how Windows 365 is really different than any other technology in the market right now?
Yeah, so it definitely is a different product compared to like Azure Virtual Desktop, remote desktop services, Citrix that you typically would mention when you're talking about virtual environments, right? So it all starts at the IT pros, the management aspect of it. And that's really the core of it. It's all starting there. And the deployment is easy. No additional skills is required from your physical device management. And all the effort that you already put in is inherited into your Cloud PC configuration. So everything starts there. Compared to where you have Azure Virtual Desktop, for example, it's a bit more complex with images, updates, everything like that. But the really key thing here for me is that the end user experience, because Azure Virtual Desktop really rabbited on the corona, right? And it did a phenomenal job. But if you go out and ask an end user what they want a personal device experience. And traditional VDI isn't that. So that is what Windows 365 are bringing directly to the user, and that's really the big difference. That's the two key differences: the IT management and the end user experience.
Thanks. Yeah, that really. I'm in the end user experiences team, so that's great to hear that you acknowledge the kind of vision and the features that we recently released that really brings Windows and Windows 365 together and create that premium end user experience that you like that the most about our product as well. One thing I really would like to know from you is how can IT pros, the listeners to this episode, learn more about Windows 365 and the tips and tricks that you have? So what do you recommend to get going there?
Yeah, there are definitely some great articles out there from both Microsoft third party and Microsoft MPs like myself. And especially my good friend and colleague, Thomas Marguson, is doing some really interesting articles how to get started and what kind of value Windows 365 can do for a company. But something that I'm really excited to share here is that the book that we did together, you, me, and Sandeep, where we are going from zero to hero and just, going from basic stuff to getting more advanced and deploying Cloud PCs.
Yeah, that's great. And I had a real pleasure working with you on that book and bringing your field expertise together with, of course, the Microsoft engineering team, which we are part of, like myself and Sandeep. We have great forward writers as well, right? We have Scott Manchester and Ken Penn as part of the forward writers. So this is definitely a book that gets you going and goes from zero to hero that you said as well. And it's now available too. So you can order it on Amazon or all those bookstores. And a quick kind of link to get there is ak.ms/mastering W365. So an easy link we will put as well here in the screen. And that's, I believe, the best resource we right now have as well to get going, right?
Yeah, definitely. This is taking right from the start with everything that you need to know and have to consider, and walk you through nice and slowly through architecture, deployment, end user experience, and tips and tricks, troubleshooting.
Hey, welcome back. And I'm now with Peter from the Netherlands here, Microsoft MVP. There's one of the organizers as well.
Yep.
So, hey, Peter, can you tell a little bit more about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm Peter Daalmans from the Netherlands. I'm an Intune MVP, and I help customers in my daily life to embrace modern management, basically.
Oh, that's great. And that's exactly what Windows 365 is doing too.
Yeah, yep.
So you're one of the organizers of the event.
Yep.
So how have you seen the interest evolving for Windows 365 over time?
I think it's enormous, where you had in the past a lot of AVD and VDI solutions. Now it's almost everybody is submitting sessions for Windows 365.
That's great. And one thing I think is my favorite question, how did you get in touch with Windows 365 for the first time? So what was your experience there?
How did I get in touch? I think via the MVP community program from Microsoft, so via you. Got a license and started playing with it and seeing how easy it is to use and to manage. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And I know you're using Windows 365 for some of your customers as well. What do you see as main scenario or multiple scenarios there that will help businesses that you help?
Yeah, we see a lot of different scenarios, like a developer scenario where people that are developing software or services or, I don't know, integrations with Office, they want to have a VM which can be reverted quickly and so on. And we started using Windows 365 for that in the last couple of months, and it's taking off really good.
Okay. And what are the other scenarios you see more?
Privileged access, workstations of privileged access VMs, where we are able to lock it down to, for instance, manage Azure from the VM.
Okay, great. Another great question. What's your favorite Windows 365 feature right now?
Yeah, I was lucky to be able to test Switch inside a preview, and that's really awesome that you can switch from your local desktop to the VM just by using the native Windows functionality.
Okay, well that's cool. And going a little bit deeper into, hey, how did you get started versus like how the audience of this episode can kick the tires with Windows 365? Like what do you kind of advise there in terms of what is the expertise that is needed to provision cloud PCs and things like that?
I think if you're currently managing Windows 11 or Windows 10, it isn't that different. It's really easy to configure provisioning profiles to basically deploy your virtual machines, and then if you have your virtual machine, the management is exactly the same. For sure, if you're managing Windows 11, you can use the same policies, you can use the same application deployment you already have, so it's really easy. And the benefit is that you can easily restore VMs, backup VMs, just from the cloud.
Yeah, so what you're saying is kind of with your Intune expertise for managing physical PCs, you can do the same with cloud PCs
exactly,
as well. So there's an easy ramp up phase there to start with Windows 365. So another great question I would like to ask you is, you as an IT pro yourself, like what do you recommend for other IT pros to kick the tires, get going? You kind of already answered the part of, hey, if you have Intune knowledge, you're kind of already ready to go, right? So what do you recommend in terms of resources and such?
Microsoft Learn and the community. There's a big AVD Windows 365 community online, but also attending community events like the Workplace Near Summit, of course, meeting people from Microsoft building the services. It's a great resource to learn from.
Okay, well, thanks. I'm not holding you any longer. I know the conference is still going, so thanks for being here, and looking forward maybe to see you next in another episode.
All right, thank you for having me.
And now I'm with Ola, another Windows 365 MVP here at the Workplace Ninja Summit event. And Ola, can you introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, my name is Ola Ström. I'm a Windows 365 MVP based out of Sweden. Been on Windows 365 MVP for a year now, I think. Got awarded last year.
Well, it's great to have you as part of the program.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here, and I'm really honored to be part of the group as well too.
Well, I learned as well you have some sessions here at the event. Can you share a little bit what your session is all about and what you're sharing there?
Yeah, I'm going to have, like you said, 2 sessions. I'm going to talk a little bit about networking in Windows 365, what the difference is between using an Azure Virtual Network compared to the Microsoft hosted ones. Mostly because I find it that a lot of people are asking about this, and just helping the community understand the product a little bit better, what the differences are, and how you could use it in the best way. And the other session is a little bit more around how you could deploy smarter, basically. So you can put the Cloud PC closer to the end user, no matter where in the world they are, and you don't have to work that hard making that happen. So sharing a little bit tips and tricks in the second session.
Well, that's pretty cool. You're definitely super passionate and one of our most active Windows 365 MVPs as well. So one question I want to ask Ola, like, what did you make the move to invest in Windows 365? Like, what caught your interest, kind of? So can you share a little bit more there?
I think it all started when Microsoft released AVD, when it was called Windows Virtual Desktop back in the days. I got really excited, like, this is a little bit easier way of doing virtualization. I don't come from a virtualization background. I'm more of an Intune guy. So, and when that showed up, when Windows 365 showed up in the Intune portal and made everything so easy, I really fell in love with the product, because this kind of brings virtualization to everyone, and you can work from whatever device you have, wherever you are, in a really easy way. And for the admins, they don't need to learn all the Azure stuff. They just need to know how Intune works. For me, at least for the experience I have with the customers I work for, like the virtualization team might not be that big, and it's usually the device management team running those things, and they don't really have that expert knowledge, and this makes their lives easier. So that's why I got really excited about the simplicity of it.
One other thing I'm very interested about is, what are the main use cases you see Windows 365 being used for at your customers? Can you shed some light on that?
Absolutely. So I've seen mainly two scenarios in Sweden. So we're mostly talking about consultants or temporary workers, where someone comes in for a limited period of time, or maybe over a few years as well, but they have their own PC already. Like I'm working as a consultant myself. So I have my own PC for my company. When I come in working with our customers, instead of them having to go get me hardware, they will just spin up a Cloud PC for me, and I can access their environment in a secure way on my own device. So I only have to have one computer in my backpack, not 3 or 4 or how many that would be. So I think that's probably like the most common one in Sweden right now.
So bring your own devices, right?
Exactly, but more from a consultant perspective. So you bring another managed device in, basically.
We call it, by the way, bring your own PC, just to make the reflection to the physical PC and the Cloud PC, because it's just more stick to the service and the end user experiences that we provide as part of it. What are the other scenarios, or is this the main scenario you're currently seeing?
I think this is like the largest scenario. This is where the customer discussions I'm having is ending up all the time. But we also see a little bit of more like when you do mergers and acquisitions. So having an easy way to onboard that new company into your environment, instead of going out replacing their hardware the first week, you give them a Cloud PC so they can access the new company environment in a seamless way. And then down the line, more controlled project, moving their physical clients as well. But then they've already been working in the right tenant. So I think that those two are the most common one in Sweden right now.
Okay, well, thanks for sharing that. And that really sits into what we hear from customers as well, within the strategy of do more with less, and with supply chain issues. We see that a lot as well, being a very good trigger point for Windows 365, because you just said as well, it's super easy, and we have the storage and capacity and everything globally available. So it's easy for customers in Sweden to use that. Another question, and this is one of my favorite questions to ask. What's your favorite feature of Windows 365? Can you tell a little bit more there?
I think the favorite feature I probably have, I was thinking about this prior to the session, and I came to the conclusion that that's what I love about that. That's like my main favorite thing. There's also other stuff I really like, but that's probably the most exciting thing. I can access it from, if I jump around between computers, I can still access it, or if I'm on my phone or from my car or whatever. So it doesn't really work that well in the car, but it actually works, which is pretty cool by itself.
Yeah, we had one person sharing a picture of his Tesla using Win 365 as well.
And I had to try that after seeing him doing it. I had my colleague who has another EV car trying it on the car as well. It works. Teams didn't really work out that well, but you can use it. You can do like basic stuff, but calling didn't really work, and I can see why. And no one really expected it, but it's a cool feature that you can take whatever device you have with the browser, access it from the browser. You don't need an app for it. You just sign in with your corporate account, and you have your desktop. That's my absolute favorite thing. And then there's of course all the cool stuff being released right now, but that's what gets me most excited, to be honest.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing that. And we just did Morten on the interview as well, and he really highlighted the end user experience focus of the product, like having an end user experience that no other technology is currently offering, right? Do you see that as well? Like if you compare Windows 365 with another solution, do you see that it's a unique offering, and there are experiences or other things there that like no other solution can do as well? Or
Yeah, I would second that to Morten. I think the user experience is really good. It's like you said, it's simple. It's easy to get started from an admin perspective, but also easy and familiar for the end user. So it's Windows. It's not, you're not signing into a server OS, which is like the worst example I always use, that you sign into an old server OS and having really not a desktop experience. You're getting kind of a halfway server experience. But I think that's a big thing, like making that life easier and not having virtualization being that obscured thing that we do weird stuff in. It's for everyone now.
Yeah, really that personal Windows experience that you just highlighted, and probably Windows 365 boot and switch as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which are integrated inside Windows 11 now.
Yeah, I think Switch will, like we were discussing earlier as well, coming in as a contractor, or like having that bring your own PC so I can switch context pretty easy back and forth based on what I'm doing or what I need to access. I think that will make this a little bit easier for everyone, because then you don't have to launch the app, and you take away like a little threshold for a few users to actually use it a little bit more than they're already doing.
That's great to hear. And yeah, one of the points of Windows 365 is blending Windows and Windows 365 closer together. And that creates really that unique experience that Windows 365 provides to end users, just like you called out as well.
Yeah.
Hey, one other question for the IT Pro audience that is watching right now. What do you kind of recommend in terms of kicking the tires, learning, if folks haven't used the product yet or just want to kind of improve their knowledge and skills? What would be your recommendation to do there?
I would say like check out the blogs that's out there. I blog a lot about how to get started with Windows 365. So check out my blog. So like pushing for that, but also the Windows 365 community blog. We share a lot of things. There are good posts that we find all over the web. It's a very good place to get started. And of course, the new book that you and Morten has written together with Sandeep, that's also a really good source for figuring out where to start. And I think what I'm usually telling people and customers in this discussion, exact same discussion, is get a license, try it. Then you don't have to continue. If you didn't like it, you will most likely do like it, but just get started, play around with it, see what it can do. It's a computer. It's just in the cloud. That's the approach I have to it a little bit. It acts in Intune like your physical. It's just Cloud PC instead of Microsoft Surface or whatever.
I love it. Yeah. So your tip to the audience is just get going and kick the tires and don't wait any longer, right?
Exactly. Just get started. That's the best thing to do.
Well, awesome. Thanks for being here, Ola.
Thank you.
It's great to have you, and I hope to see you at the conference or somewhere else later on today.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.